This free acrylic tutorial is being brought to you by the good folks at Ginger Cook Academy of Fine Art and Acrylic Painting, and contributions from caring viewers like you. Now to the show. And now, without further ado, I have the distinguished honor and privilege of presenting to you the Queen of Color, the Mother of Artists, globally acclaimed, award-winning master acrylic artist, and the star of our show, Ginger Cook, as she once again mesmerizes her audience with the daring do's and don'ts of painting with acrylics. You're on.
Who's on?
You're on TV.
Okay.
YouTube TV.
YouTube TV. Okay. Hi, everybody. Thank you for joining us this Wednesday afternoon.
What day is it?
It's Wednesday evening.
Uh-huh.
Well, it's afternoon somewhere, John.
Absolutely. You know, there is
I'm never
that
wrong, right?
But you know, it's probably going to be Thursday afternoon for them.
Well, yes, but it's some sort of afternoon. Somewhere it's evening here. It's 7:30 Central Time here in Texas.
What? Texas?
That's where we are, Texas.
Is that where we are?
It is.
I often wondered where we were.
I can tell, but we'll just straighten that out for everybody. We're in Texas at the moment.
I appreciate that.
So
at the moment, yeah. No telling where we're going to end up.
Yeah, but this is fun, you know. And normally we do a Monday night show, but things got a little crazy for us Monday, and so, you know, we
tell
figured,
us about that, Ginger.
Well, we have a little video that explains it, but basically, you know, there was a little, you know, kind of a Gilligan Island tour at the hospital. Started at 7 in the morning and didn't get out of there till 4, though I was supposed to be out by noon, and that's the story for another day. But the good news is that we're here bright and happy, and we're going to bring, I think this is one of my favorite holiday tutorials, the kind of the winter tutorial. I think you could keep it long after December 25th. I think
absolutely.
I think
well into February.
Yeah, in fact, if you later you could hang a few little hearts down from the birdhouse and maybe turn it into a Valentine's one too. It'd be really cute. In fact, if you change the openings into little hearts, you know, and like that, you could.
I like that
make
idea.
It cute, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, just saying, not that it isn't cute now, but I'm just saying it's got options, okay? And it's fun to do, and sometimes people just want to paint something, you know, fun and whimsical. And the question's going to come up, can you paint it bigger? Yeah, you can. You could do it 16 by 20.
30 by 40.
And you know, the neat thing about being an artist is you can have winter paintings and summer paintings and spring, summer, winter, fall, whatever.
You can change out your paintings.
You just change out your paintings on a whim.
Hey, it came up. What's your shirt say?
Oh.
To save time, let's just assume I know everything.
I know everything. You like it? So one of our viewers sent this to us, and I think that's just perfect. Just absolutely perfect. Just
of course you would.
Well, yes. Well, yes.
Yes. Okay,
and,
would you like me to scoot on down? Do you have anything else to say to the folks?
Yeah, no, it's just if you're new to our channel and you decided to, you know, watch us live, we've got some fabulous moderators who are keeping the chat. Who do we have? Who are keeping the chat fun and safe?
We have Elizabeth.
Hi, Liz, and
we have a lot of Elizabeth.
And we've got I don't know whoever we've got.
Judy.
Judy, hi Judy, and
looks like it's the Judy Liz show.
Judy Liz show. Okay, well, anyway, we've got some moderators, and listen, if you have questions for us, and we're happy to answer them, you may even hear a sound like this.
Oh, you found your donger thingy.
And that would be the question of the night, and you might win something. So you have to ask a question that we think would benefit everybody. No one's asked before. That's, you know, something we can answer on the air. You know, kind of what I'm talking about here. You know, something kind of art related. We can maybe. Maybe we can answer it, and in which case, you may have one question of the day. Also, at the end of the show, we're going to have some fun drawings for you guys that are watching us live, in appreciation of the fact that you're hanging in there with us live. Toward the end of the show, we're going to have these live drawings for some super duper downloadable video lessons in our library. We have over 75 tutorials that people can just buy outright and download.
How many?
75? Is that not true? Not that many?
Not that many yet.
How many we got?
maybe around 30 or 40.
Well, it's a lot, right? So we got a bunch.
We're going to be adding more.
And
but
some of them
time.
are only in the downloadable. In other words, we have an art academy, which we have over 400 lessons on, and we add new ones every week. But the thing is, on our downloadable library, we add some as we can, because not everybody lives in places where they have, really good internet, and that's the only way they can watch the lessons. And also, sometimes you just want to own one and just keep it forever. And some of these lessons are only available in the library, like our village set with our Christmas village pieces.
Oh, I need to bring some pieces over to show those.
Maybe you can still show them. You can scoot over there during a quick break or something
Yeah, I
and
can
show
do
it
that.
to us. So we'll show you that. So anyway, that's something to pick from, and something to choose from. Also, our silver members, now those, in December, I think it was like a couple years ago, we offered a special deal to annual subscribers, and they were called silver members. And we have a limited amount of silver members. Not a lot of people can be annual subscribers, but the silver members were kind of those people that supported us early on. And I've got a special painting that's going to be released this December just for you guys.
Just for them.
Just for the silver members. And so that's kind of exciting. We'll show you that. And
we'd like to thank Miss Brooks for the donation. She says, how can I make my donation dollars go further?
Gosh, thank you so much. And how you can is when you watch us live, I'm going to sneeze now because we're up here in the studio. Oh, well.
There we go.
When you watch it, there's something up here in this room, I swear. When you
bet it's
watch
the
us live, YouTube allows donations to be made to the YouTube facility there. But and we appreciate those, though YouTube is very comfortable with their 30%. But if you go to our website, gingercooklive.gallery, and do the PayPal donation right there on the front page, then PayPal just takes a 3% processing fee. And a lot of the so anyway, whatever you want to do is nice. We appreciate it very much, and thank you very much. And I'm going to blow my nose again. Can you mute it for me?
You got it, boss.
Thank you. To the living.
Back to the living.
Okay, so
Scoot on down.
Scoot on down. I thought this was really a cute picture. I love this kind of the dark. Mostly people might do blue or something as a background. We have these little canvas pads, and when we're done with our paints in the evening, what we do is we take all the canvases lying around we can find and just start covering them with leftover paint, and then we paint on them. And so here's some brown one I found. We're going to do this background, put a little gold in here, a little yellow oxide, and then we're going to do a toothbrush on it and dry it. And then what we're going to do is just easily draw this little house on and the birds. It's easy peasy.
Easy peasy.
You won't believe how easy it is.
How easy is it?
It's really easy. You're going to like it. Okay. And so what the first thing we're going to do is put that out of the way.
I need to show up.
And
there I am.
And I've got a little yellow oxide, and I'm using something called antique white, but you could use just a little white and a little brown in it too, would make that, and a little yellow oxide.
You've been using that antique white quite a bit.
I had a big tube of it. I'm using it up, man. How's that? It just, stuff doesn't keep forever. It's not like the Sphinx, honey in the tombs of Egypt. You got to, I have some, so we're using it up. And I'll put a little yellow oxide with it, and then we want a little burnt umber. But any old brown canvas would do. You just want some dark brown down, kind of reddish brown down here, and some lighter color up there. I'll show you how to do that. And I mean, it's kind of optional. It doesn't have to be perfect. Just kind of get something. Then we're also going to be using white, also titanium white. Let's see, what did I say I needed here? Yeah, maybe just a tiny bit of cad red medium to get the reddish brown color.
How are you feeling?
Oh, thank you so much. I am feeling great today, except for all the sneezing that happens when I come into this room, which I don't know about because I haven't cold or anything. It's just sort of seasonal allergies. But whatever is in this room is a challenge to my nose. But the whole thing with the hospital and everything, I'm feeling great. I feel like Atlas Shrugged, just done with all that nonsense.
Hey,
all
would
right.
the
turn this down around.
Would the unbleached titanium work for my antique white, or?
Yeah, unbleached titanium would be fine. would certainly work
Be
fine.
close enough.
Close enough, because I mean, just, this was sort of a happy accident, and I liked it so much we're going to do it again. The sort of light color up here, I thought it was pretty. Might even exaggerate a little bit. So if I take a little bit of burnt umber, a little cad red medium, right, and then I just said, okay, so here's I just wanted this dark part just a little bit. It's a little dark down here. My branches wouldn't show up if I had it this dark. Does that make sense? So I have to have it a little bit lighter. So cad red medium and burnt umber are good. So we just kind of want a reddish brown, which I kind of get rid of that dark area down here. And then as I come on up here, I'm doing this fairly fast because I don't need a lot on here, it's already got some reddish brown paint. Then I might take a little bit of the white and the yellow and come on up on this part like this. My brush is still dirty, so it's going to give it a little bit of a tone.
Oh, we'd like to thank Sharon for the donation.
Thank you. We have had some of the most successful, I want to say thank you so much for the donations, you guys, and I want to thank everybody for the, that has contributed, because, the scholarships that we've been able to do this year have been terrific. I'm thinking about all the people that we've helped scholarship as far as our classes go. I'm thinking I need a little purple here to kind of tone that back. Purple kind of grays yellow, you knew that, right? Because it's opposite, it's on the color wheel. Okay, so I really have to say that was I'm really, and what people have been able to paint. Let's see, that made a little green. I don't like that. Okay, never mind. Moving on to the next dumb thought I have here. Okay, so I tell you what, and then I'm seeing what people are painting. The nice thing about being an Academy member, I know we plug this a lot, but that people, not only get some of the lessons are a lot longer, and they can send me their artwork in, and then I can make comments. And then also, the other place you can get a little help like that is if you're a member of our Facebook club. On Wednesdays, particularly, it doesn't matter what crazy project you're working on. It doesn't have to be one of mine. You can post it and say, put the word the letters CC for constructive criticism or comments, however you want to interpret that. Sorry. And put a little more yellow oxide up here. And anyway, what happens is that you get a little help. And today, and sometimes you'll get me to comment, even if you're not a member of the Academy, you'll get me to maybe make a suggestion on your painting. We get pretty busy. I don't do it all the time, but I try to do that for somebody every Wednesday. Somebody gets a comment from me too. Fun to be a member of the club and see what people are doing. I give shout outs to artists that I think have done extraordinarily well. Michael Fettis, the other day, Mike Fettis, did one of our village pieces, and he just totally took it. The village pieces is this little European village scene, and all the little shops and everything have different things in the window. And his grandmother was a fancy baker, and he just had Star Wars cookies, and he had gingerbread houses, and he had kids looking in the window, and he took it so much farther than I did. And that's what I really love when people do that. They say, okay, Ginger did this, what if I did that? And that's the fun. Our job is to really make not only help you have painting be fun, so you're not frustrated over the steps of how to do stuff, but also to kind of expand your imagination and some camaraderie. I feel like we're all getting to be friends. John and I long enough. You kind of like know us, right? We're like your crazy relatives. Or what are those two doing now?
Wait. Speak for yourself. Not all of us are crazy.
Really?
Not all of us.
Which one of us is
Well,
it?
we're leaving that up to the studio audience.
I'm just saying.
We're getting people asking, what brush are you currently using? Because it looks magnificent.
Well, you know what? This is a number 10 silver art stripper brush, and it's nice and stiff. The one thing I'm very proud of my daughter about is that she and I, when we would paint, and we've been painting together for years, right? And we would kind of complain about the fact that the brushes were always about, you buy a brush, it would say good for oil painting or good for acrylics. And anybody knows that a brush that's really good for oil painting isn't necessarily good for acrylic, vice versa, and sure, it doesn't work for watercolor. And if it's good for watercolor, and it might do for acrylics if you use them like watercolor, but then when you try to use them like oil paints, then it's not the same thing. And since they all kind of, quite frankly, they exaggerate the benefits of some of these brushes. And so we said, wouldn't it be nice, and that's really true, wouldn't it be nice if somebody just made some brushes that were designed for acrylics? Because there has to be a certain stiffness for the acrylics to work well. And And she did. She designed some really good brushes. They're called the Art Tripper brushes. And if you one of the places I think, they're selling them now at lots of different places. But I constantly shout out to the guys, the brushguys.com. And here's why. Because for the last couple years, they've given all our viewers a 5% discount if you mention my name, Ginger Cook, all one word. Doesn't matter what brush you buy anywhere on their site, whether you buy brushes I recommend or any of my daughters. I haven't been in there to add her brushes to my site because it's a pain to try to change all the pages. But I just tell people, and they sell all over the world. In other words, some of the big companies like Jerry's or Dick Blick and stuff, they'll have a sale and maybe match their prices. But these guys have these prices year round, and it's actually cheaper for you to buy a brush if you live in Australia from the Brush Guys and mail it to you, particularly if you buy several, because you pay the shipping charges for like one brush are 10, right? It's not per brush. So, if you buy a few and got together even as a group of friends, if you had some friends who were artists there and living out of the country, get together, put together one order, because the brushes are so light that you probably could get by with a lot of brushes for the same shipping charge. Anyway, thebrushguys.com. I like those guys. I'm going to shout them out. They're always sweet. All right, this is kind of what I've got here like that. It's good enough, right?
And now, is that considered scrumbling?
Well, kind of. I just sort of blended this into there. It's a little bit more than this was sort of a happy accident. It was kind of how this sheet was, but I kind of blended this a little bit more in this one, so the light came down a little more, right? And it's still light enough where, see this dark branch? In fact, right here, well, by the time I put the snow on, it'll be light enough for this dark branch to show. If it's too dark, then the dark branch won't show. It's kind of those contrast things. So then what I'm going to do is to find some white paint, which I have somewhere.
A few people have heard about the Art Sherpa's new cleaning solution. Do you know when that's going to be released?
No, I don't. She's all that soap is handmade, and that they came up with, and we love it. But she said that she thinks the brush guys they'll be probably the first people to carry it, but they don't. They don't make it. It's made somewhere else. They invented it, but it's made somewhere else, and they're working on it. The kids right now. She's like my kids, so I always call them the kids and the grandkids. They're in. If you're anywhere near Phoenix this week, she's going to be in Phoenix at a big Pinterest convention this Friday and Saturday. Ooh, so if anybody wanted to meet Cinnamon in person, that would be the place to do it.
And we got to
you probably could get over there and see what they're doing. And then she's been posting some of her terrifically funny stories about her adventures getting there, which they're fun. They're fun. So we're a fun family. I think we're fun. I think we're a fun family, right?
By golly, we're a fun family.
I'm going to blow my nose again. You're going to mute me.
Yes, ma'am.
This is. Put it right here. Okay.
All right.
So I'm going to take I needed some white paint, and I think I had some here, and it's coming back to me where I put it.
This show is staying up after?
It's staying up. This is a live show, but it is staying up after. The one we did with the little wagon, we'll air that later. We just thought it would be fun. And do you see this? Can they see this little thing right here?
They can't see the camera, but they can see. I have it turned on, so they got the view.
All right, this is this little view here. This is our GoPro camera. We just got it. And John and I are going to be traveling next week, and we're going to just take everybody with us.
Whether you like it or not,
you're just coming. We're going to show you the packing, the good, the bad, and the ugly. We're going to just take you in, and we're going to put it up here on YouTube. And there'll be short segments, 10, 15 minutes. You just want to kind of live vicariously through the crazy adventures we're going to be doing. We figured, why not, right?
And we even have a name for it.
Do we? I forgot. What was our name?
Escape Artist Vlog, On the Move with Ginger and John.
Escape Artist Blog, On the Move with Ginger and John. Don't you love it? And
we'd like to thank, I think it was Karen that gave us that.
Yeah, thank you. We just, everybody came up with some great names, and we really thought about it. We gave it some long consideration.
Oh, we did. We probably spent way too long on it.
No, I've got a toothbrush, which I've wetted, right? It's damp. Now I'm going to come over here to this white paint.
Now wait, did you go right from the bucket to there?
Yeah, right from the bucket to there, and I'm going to come along here and kind of make this a little soupy. If you had some of that paint, the fluid paint, that would be good too, right? Now I'm going to do this, right? tap on rag. Can you see rag?
Yep.
Then we are going to, I think I don't test it first. I'm just going
to go for it?
I'm going to be brave and go for it, but it could be a little damper brush. Here, come back here. There we go. A little bit damper brush and then tap like that. This is messy, I understand. And your thumb just scrapes along here. I want it fairly light so this shows up. Here, let me move this. We got enough sprinklies things on that, right? Holding it almost straight down. Don't keep moving it. Do it a couple of times and just stay in one place 2 or 3 passes with your thumb before you move it.
Look at that angle I got for you guys with the GoPro. You can see her from the other side. Oh, that's just too cool.
Oh, come on. This is fun, right? So you see my thumb is doing this. Now, I understand that just some people cannot stand to get their hand dirty like that. And
that would be the sock folders.
And I tell this story all the time about this woman that invented, it looked like a popsicle stick, kind of a wide popsicle stick with a little piece of screen stapled on it, and she'd take the toothbrush and run it over the screen and got these great spatters. I've never bought the screen. I saw her work. If she hadn't, this was like 20 years ago, she wanted like $20 for this, right? I'm going, nah, I'll make one. I never made one, but for those of you, I mean, I think you could probably make one for 5 cents. If you just can't stand the idea of your thumb. And you know, some people can't do this. This is so funny to me. When we used to teach the wine and painting parties there at the Merlota Masterpiece, I did that for like 7 years. And I was amazed at, because we'd pass out toothbrushes and let people do this. And I was amazed the owner of the store couldn't teach a class with any of the snow because he couldn't make it go. Okay, and just a little more up here, see? Okay, so I think that's pretty good. Don't you guys think so? Feels very snowy, doesn't it? All right, so now I'm going to grab my tub of towels thing here and clean my fingers, and then we're going to dry that. And look, I got one left. No, that was
no. That's a good one.
That's a good one.
I just took that out, did a quick little wipe with something. I saved
then you
it
put
for
it back?
because I'm so cheap.
All right. Well, all right, we're cleaning up, right? It's always better to clean up.
Hey, Ginger. Mm-hmm. Can you please explain when I should be using mixing white as opposed to titanium white? I'm new to painting and I really need some help.
Yeah, it's really simple. Like, for instance, raw umber is a transparent color. Mixing white is a transparent color. So when you're, and it won't make if you're trying to lighten a color and you don't want it real chalky, it will lighten it slightly and not change it that much. It will lighten it a few values, okay? And also it's good for clouds because, you know, clouds are kind of water vapor and they are water vapor. You want to be able to have that see-through transparent look. It's good for mist, all that stuff. So mixing white is very, very handy. Zinc white, 90% of the time, most of the stuff you use is going to be titanium, but you really don't want to be without a mixing white or what they call zinc white, okay? Golden makes something called zinc white, which is what the oil painters use, and Liquitex calls it mixing white. I don't know, everybody's got different names for it, but it's just something you want to have. It's one of those secrets that you just, as artists, you just want, you know? So there, all right, hands are clean. While this is drying, just give me a second. Let me show you something. You know, I told you that every week in our Art Academy we offer new stuff, right? And this week we had, and let's see, I have that, of course I have it down at the bottom of the pile. Where is it? Here, oh yeah, here, I had 2 of those. All right, so this week, and everybody was waiting for it, but you know, we had this hospital thing and it all got crazy. But this week for our Academy members is our ice skates, old-fashioned ice skates, and it's... and
it has been published, It
is up on our website. And look, what I originally did was a small one. And I show you really step by step how to grid this. This one's been varnished. Isn't that cool? Look at how, people always ask, why do you varnish? Look at how it brings the colors out in the painting. Can you see that?
It's been shellacked.
It's got, you know, it's actually, what we use is Liquitex gloss, medium, and varnish.
Yep.
And you can see, look how much brighter the reds are than the one that hasn't been. That's why you varnish. People say, why do you do it? It's really, I would call it, if I had a brand where they would just let me relabel stuff, I'd call it a color popper.
Ooh,
Final color popper, because that's what it does. It pops your colors back out. You can really see it. So if you really want to know about this grid method of how to do stuff, I think I've explained it really well. We've done a bunch of videos on that. We've got one on YouTube with some high heel shoes and blue jeans that are nice, but this is again available. And then we have one more day, I think, is it 2 more days left? How many?
One.
One more day left in the auction.
For that particular painting.
For this larger painting, if you'd just like to own it. You know what I mean? And maybe give this as a gift to somebody. We really discounted this much less than we normally sell paintings this size that are original pieces by me. It's an original piece by me. And so if you're interested, check out our auction site, which is gingercookauction.com.
Ooh, very good.
Yeah? I got that, right? So that, I'm excited about that. All right. So has this kind of dried? Let's hit this with the hairdryer. Maybe John can fill you in on some more fun things.
Maybe. All right, while she's muted. Somebody asked about the canvases warping or getting wrinkly. That's from using too much water. And what Sue said there, I use parchment paper, wax paper, same idea. Put a heavy book on them and that will flatten them back out. It's just getting them too wet. We've had a couple do that. We don't use a lot of water, so we don't really get that problem very often. Somebody asked, why does she have unbleached titanium on her palette? She does periodically, but we have this old tube of antique white that we need to use, so that's why unbleached isn't there.
Yeah, I have some of that unbleached. That's next.
You know, we're just going through some of the older tubes. You have to cycle them.
All right, so here's our picture, and here's our background. I think that's really nice. Don't you think this extra background here is kind of where we brought it down a little bit? It looks nice, right? So what we want to do, and I'm going to move our painting out of the way, is that I want to again, Robin just must think, I feel like Robin sent us these, Robin Coates sent me these, and I can tell I like them because I talk about her all the time, like we're old friends. I've never met Robin, but I certainly appreciate these.
Hey, we'd like to thank Eric for the donation. Hey, y'all.
Oh yeah, this is so good. And listen, you guys, for those of you who are, this is the time of year when a lot of you are going to shows, art shows, and showing your artwork. And of course, if you're doing any of our tutorials, either on YouTube or that actually were a video tutorial, either on YouTube or in our academy, Art Academy, we're happy that you sell those paintings. We want you to sell them, be able to keep your art hobby going or your art business going. We understand. For some of you, it's a hobby. For some, it's becoming a business. A lot of people are supplementing their income. We have a lot of retired people that, the big shock is there's no, Social Security is like worth zip. So, if you want to continue with a hobby, sometimes you've got to figure out ways to increase your income with it. And so we're happy that you're able to sell these pieces. And we ask that you don't make prints. But on the other hand, so you're going to a show, you've never done that before, and there's a learning curve, just like anything, on how to do a show. And Eric, on our Facebook page, very nicely, he bought a bunch of these metal kind of wire walls for shows. And I asked him, and he very kindly did a video on how to put them together. Not everybody has an Eric handy to put their stuff together for them. If you live in Las Vegas, I suppose you could email and maybe come help you. but at least watch this video, and that's on our. This is the kind of stuff that's in our free Facebook club.
Now, I really should be belonging to the Facebook club. It's completely open. It's a private group. You have to apply. But you need to just go to the Facebook group, and it's called what? What's it called, Ginger?
It's the Ginger Cook Acrylic Painting Club.
What a great
on Facebook.
name!
Yeah, and you know what? And we have moderators. We have like 6 moderators in there, and we have questions. So that there was somebody that applied recently, who apparently had no male friends, just dozens of. Well, we don't know what they were, but. It seemed a little. In other words, everybody's screened. We want artists, people that are. We want you to feel good about the club. People just say nice things about your work. That everybody's helpful. It's like Mr. Rogers kind of club, right? We're those kind of people, right? We're just nice. We don't talk politics. We just keep everything sweet and light, right? All right. I want to come down from the top of our about 2 inches from the top of our house. And about 2 fingers over. How's that? About like that. I'm going to make a little line going straight across here like this. Is that 2 inches down? The reason we like chalk, it wasn't. Look at that. Almost. Here's 2 inches. Okay, so erase that. That's why we like these. 2 down, right? And then I want to come down about, 2 inches again. Oh, that's certainly easy, right? Everything's 2 inches. 2 inches, right? And then we want to come out about 1/4 of an inch. And just draw a little diagonal line like that. Now you can't mess that up, can you? Look at that, right? And then I want to come down about from there. I want to come down, lo and behold, another 2 inches.
Did you do that on purpose?
No, I freehanded this in, and it just kind of worked out that way. And I want to come down, straight down about like that from there and there. See, wow, how easy is that, right? And then we're going to come out here. Oh, it can't be so simple. It's 2 inches again, right? But it's up slightly higher. It's 2 inches again.
Was that a 2 inches? Do that again.
Isn't that 2 inches?
That's there. Go back to where you were measuring on the...
But it's up slightly higher, about a quarter of an inch higher. And I'm going to put this roof down here like this. Okay. And then this little board is, and let me put my glasses on. Gosh, look at that. When you wear your glasses, these little lines just pop into your mind like magic. Wow, 1.5 inches. Like, wow, I forget to wear glasses. 1.5 inches, just come down like that. And then we're going to do a little angle like that, okay? Everybody's happy with that? Yes and yes? And then we'll put a little bit of a ledge out here like this around the house like this. And out comes this like this, and out comes this like this. And we've got a birdhouse. And then somewhere in the middle here, I suppose, we could have like a little hole right there. Yeah? Yes and yes?
Yes and yes. Perfect.
So then, down here in the corner, right, which is about here to here, right, we're going to say we know we've got the board kind of going in front of this branch, kind of going here. Then it's going to kind of wander around up here like this somewhere. Let's change colors. Okay. I should have the sharpener right in front of me, but then it's electric, so. All right, so we're doing that. Okay, now here's the thing about sticks. They're fatter at the bottom and then they get thinner. Yes? So as it comes up here like this, it gets a little thinner, and then right about level with the top of this birdhouse right here, just slightly above that, we're going to fork this off like this and just say it's doing some sort of weird little thing like this. Now remember, it's a tree, so if your trees, and there's zillions of different kinds of trees in the world, so if your tree is slightly different than mine, who would know, right? That's a reasonable thing. And this is a little bit wider branch right here. And then we've got another little branch coming, kind of zigzagging back this way. So we're going to have a bird sitting right here. Here's this like the letter, U, right? It's a kind of straight back like this. You see this kind of almost like a cup, right? Can you see that? Like a cup, right? And then you've got a little head here. Like that, a little round head with a little beak sticking out, and then he has a little head thing that comes back like that. Okay, and then his little wingies come out like this, and he's got a little tail that's coming down like that. Pretty easy, yes? And then this one is doing the same thing. He's sitting right here. I'm going to start with his head because here's his little top notch. Here's his little head. Here's a little beak, right? And then he's almost like he's just kind of hanging out here on this little branch. I think I may raise his head up just a bit up here. Here's his little head up here. Let's move his head. This is why we like to, he's got a little wing here. And then he's got a tail that's just sticking down here like that, yeah? And you're going, wow, I had no idea it was that easy. And then, I know, and then this branch is coming this way in front of this bird, and then we're not really talking about it, but then here, up here, there's a little birdhouse right here, just a small one.
And it's starter home.
Just a starter home for the new people to, figure out where they want to live, right? And then up here on the roof, we've got another one, and again, it's just sort of kind of almost Hershey's Kiss shape. Isn't that kind of like a Hershey's Kisses shape?
Yes, it is.
I think I need him closer to the edge because his tail's hanging down here, so he's got to be right here where his tail could be meeting, kind of a Hershey's Kiss. And then he's got a little kind of an oval head and with a little top notch and a little beak sticking out like that. So there's the little top notch thing, and they're fat, Go for fat. I don't know, fat is less cute in people, but in animals, it's all cute. Animals are allowed to...
Why is that?
I don't know, but I mean, fat cats and fat birds and everything, it's all fun, right? All right, so you can see, like, that's pretty easy, right? Yes and yes? Did I lose my, I lost my little house here. Here we go. Okay, so this is my big plan. I'm going to make him, he's a little hunchback sitting there. I'm going to make him a little bigger.
Before you go too much further, you got these birds on here. We have an interesting question.
Sure.
Would you put that second bird, which is the one you just played with, looking to the left to have the focus bring it back into the picture?
Yeah, that'd been better, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Okay.
The head's been removed. Look at that. He's turning around the other way. We can do that. That was from Michelle's 007.
Yeah, that's right, Michelle. That's right. You know, so I don't know. You're right. That would have been better. Now they're all talking. The gossiping, the gossips. That now we could call it the gossips, right?
I saw a question earlier about, I think it was from Jules, having problems with the medium and varnish. It's the brush, kiddo. My medium varnish streaks for me. How do I keep this happening? Go spend the $18 and get the ultimate varnish brush, and that won't happen.
And also, you've got to follow the brush strokes.
Yes,
if you're doing it wrong, you've got to follow the brush strokes. For years, I didn't have an $18 varnish brush. I just had a soft brush. You can't use one of these stiff brushes. You need a soft brush for varnish, and you want to make sure you're not and you want to follow the brush strokes just like you painted it. If you go up and down and back and forth, you're going to have streaks, and it looks like heck. So, and quite frankly, there's some people out there on YouTube tell people to go. They tell them to do this. They tell them to go up and down and back and forth. Let me do it on here. Well, this is not how you varnish a painting. You have to take a brush kind of close to the size you painted it, and you're varnishing like this, and like this, and like that, and you're varnishing exactly how you painted it. And then you don't get streaks. If you're varnishing,
or you use the ultimate brush.
And the ultimate brush is nice too, but you still have to follow the brush strokes.
You don't get streaks.
All right, so that being said, let's start with I'm going to start with a little angle brush here. Let's just start with this house here. Okay, so I'm going to take a little bit of burnt umber and a little bit of dazzling purple, and I think I'll come up here like this and just kind of put in, I think I want a little tiny bit of water on that brush. So, because remember, it's going over chalk. And what do we know about chalk? Well, what we know about chalk is that it's like mopping a sandy floor. It starts to clog the brush. So, you got to kind of keep the brush damp and rinse it off occasionally, all right? So, all right, so I'm going to say this is this little angle brush. What size is this? This is like a 1/2 inch. Angle brushes are I so love the angle brushes. All right, like this. We're going to come in here and say this is this one, like this, okay? And there we go, make this a little wider. Okay, now I'm going to take a little bit of, just a little bit of that, antique white color with this color. Now I've got a gray. Do you see my gray color? Look at how I got that gray. Isn't that a nice gray too? It's really silver, isn't it? And I'm going to just start with the silver birdhouse like this. I think that's kind of neat right there like that. There you go. And then I'll add a little more brown to that and then come over here on this side. Probably wouldn't hurt to put out some ultramarine blue at this point and phthalo blue. That would be probably the colors that we want next. So do you have any questions while we're chatting away at this? This is fun. I'm having fun now. You guys having fun?
We're just having a ball.
Well, John, some of us are having fun. That felt very sarcastic. Was that meant to be sarcastic?
Not at all.
Good.
Yes, the GoPro is slightly behind the real cameras. I mean, the GoPro is a little baby camera. So, yeah, it's slightly behind. But, come on, it's a different angle. Isn't it cool? Let's just go for the cool factor instead.
Yeah, we're going for the cool factor. We're going for the cool factor. All right, so that was the... now I'm going to darken this right here under the eaves a little bit and bring that down a little bit.
I'm surprised it still stayed on. It's been on for 40 minutes.
Really?
That will eventually die off.
They won't get to see it? That'll be
no,
just
I'll
it?
just turn it off then.
Okay, so, all right, so that one, and then I think I had some magenta in this too, but maybe we could just put a little bit of cad red medium in that, just a tiny bit more to that color. Let's get it just sort of a warmer gray. And I'll come up over here on this little birdhouse and just say, here's this one back here. Here's the warmer one. And then let's take the kind of this rust color and say, here's our See, a brush like this, you can do these really cool marks, and it's neat, right? Oh yeah, it is neat. But I'm telling you what, I do so many paintings with a brush like this. I'm gonna just let that dry for a second. Was this the one I wanted to show? Not sure, I have to look. Remember I told you guys, the silver members in our club, that we had a brand new painting? Well, this is not the biggest one. Where's the big one?
It's on the board being shot. You want the big one?
Yeah, well this is, I started off with this small one. And this originally was done by, these are Cherokee roses. And this is a special tutorial we've got for our silver members. It's called Cherokee Roses, and originally by Martin Head, an American artist. And here it is bigger. It's really stunning big. It's with the detail. When we did the 11 by 14, look at the detail on that when we made it bigger, even with the gold braid on that. And eventually, probably in a year's time, it'll end up as available as a downloadable lesson. But right now, it's an exclusive lesson for an appreciation for our silver members. So thank you very much, you guys. That's kind of that. I think that's really cool. All right, so I'm going to rinse the brush now. And I want to add a little bit more white to that color that I just made. You know, maybe just a little bit. It's almost a peach color. And I want to come up just over this. Let's see, a little bit more white in that. I want this to be a little bit more light gray here, so I'm just going to add some streaks down here like that. I want to lighten up this birdhouse a little bit. Here, now, here, I'll show you what I do with my rag. Oftentimes I'll do this. You'll see me do that. And then I'll come back just a little bit lighter here. This is called dry brushing, and I'm just going to kind of go over the gray. And I'm going to add a little bit of that color, a little bit of burnt umber and white. So it's almost a kind of a grade pink. Tap off the excess paint. And I want to put that on here too, like this, and just kind of little streaks. Kind of warm this birdhouse up just a little bit. Okay? There, so that's, in case you were wondering what we were doing here. And this one could be even a little bit lighter. Just kind of let this streak. You barely touch this, okay? And here, let's put a little bit of, as long as we're doing it, we'll put a little bit of white up here so you can kind of see what we're doing there. All right. So now, once you get white on your brush, then you've got to really wipe it off to change colors. And let's get some burnt umber and phthalo blue. That's going to be our darkest brown. And I'm going to come here like this and paint our wooden branch, okay? And here it is. It's going to come up this way, like that. Remember, branches get thinner as they branch out, no pun intended. And the thing about a brush like this is when you tip it up, then you just are using the tiniest bit of the bristles, and that's how you get these little tiny lines here, okay? And that's how you get these little tiny brush marks, and that's why you want a good angled brush. Absolutely, probably one of the best reasons I can tell you to why you might want an angled brush. And this is coming back up like this. And I'll tell you what, if you mess up a branch, later when you put some more snow, kind of put some snow on that so no one can see it. How's that? Okay, it's going to make this a little bit wider. Then I'm going to kind of pull it this way. Okay, and pull this a little bit wider this way. Maybe here, like that. Kind of cover the chalk. I was going to say it's wider. Well, it's a fairly fun little painting to do, and I think you're going to get this easily. I think you're going to be surprised how easily you're doing it. Any questions, Mr. Little?
Yes. As a matter of fact, we have a lot of new viewers on this evening. A lot of people aren't used to your style. Ginger, do you do full detail, or do you leave some for the eye to finish?
You know, it depends on the picture. We don't teach you to paint like me. We teach you to paint like you. Is that our GoPro kind of dying out there? What was that beeping?
I'm not sure what he did.
Huh. Well, good to know now.
Well, it's not designed to go on for as long as I've had it on.
Okay. Well, we're experimenting because we're traveling all next month, and trust me, this camera's going with us, and so are you. So the question is, it just depends on the painting and the style that we're doing, impressionism or photorealism. You know, the idea is to show you how the toys work so that you can paint any old way you want to. How's that? So that's our goal. I'm going to come right up in the middle of this and just use the corner of this brush and do my birdhouse. Again, if you were doing this on Valentine's Day, maybe you would just do a heart. Just saying. Aha! Okay. So, I mean, you're going, wow, this didn't seem that hard, does it? So, now the paint's been drying in my brush. You can hear me wishing it off, and then here like that, flatten it out. We'll go back and we're going to do another little layer of color. I think that we still want something going up this way, some branches for our bird. Coming this way like that, something. Okay, so I haven't done the roof as far as the snow, but this is probably dry. So I'll just keep the brush with a little brown on it, a little phthalo blue. I'm going to come up here like this. Now try not to make this too perfect. What I mean by that is too straight a line, because snow has a tendency to mound, okay? And let's put a little bit of titanium white with that. It has a tendency to want to mound, and it's going to want to mound on the edges too, okay? So this isn't pure white. This has got a little blue in it, like that. And then here it is on the edge here. And we're mounding it up here on our birdhouse and getting more paint.
We know that you love the angle brushes. Other than ruby satin silvers, is there any other that you could recommend?
Well, I like Judith Guitar sent me as a gift these little Monza ones. They were more expensive than the rubies. They're 3/8 inch.
They're still made by the silver company, though.
They're made by the silver. Really, the silver brush company's got my vote. They don't send me any brushes for free. You'd think they would.
We buy brushes basically once a month.
Yeah, once a month we buy brushes. But on the other hand, the good thing about this is then if I didn't like them, I could tell you too, because it's not like they're paying me to say anything nice to about them, right?
That's true.
And here's the thing. You can't pay me to say nice things about stuff I don't believe in. I just won't do it. I mean, I'm so busy telling you about all the stuff I like, right? Why would I want to make anything up, right? That's how I see it, right? I have all kinds of stuff that I'm absolutely in love with as far as,
Tickled pink with.
Just love some stuff here. Let's put some icicles down here like that. Ooh, isn't that cool? Icicles aren't picket fences. Did you ever break any off and eat them? You know that there's some are different. They're kind of carrot shaped like that.
Yeah.
That's kind of cool, right? Now, I think our wood's dark enough. If I turn this sideways, I can. I want to mound the snow like this and make it kind of uneven. So some places it's a little thicker than others, like that. See? So it wouldn't necessarily, and then like where it's falling in between probably would mound up there. Remember, stuff's falling straight down, so where is it catching? Well, for sure it's catching right there, right? Let's put a little more white with that. And you want your snow, you start off with sort of like blue snow first, because that's your shadow color, and then you add the white on top. That's the other little secret you don't know. And look at how this angle brush, I don't even have to get clever with it. It just wants to stay on top for me. And you can even just tap it and get these little light branches. Isn't that cool? So yeah, that's it. So next question, John, as long as we're answering questions.
Is that angle brush or the side of a bright for the icicles? What are you using right now?
This is an angle. This is a 3.5 inch angle.
Mainly it's angles that this lady uses like 98% of the time.
And I found these recently too. This is not, some of my first videos you don't see them, but once I found them, I'm going, oh my gosh, this is the brush, man. This is like, the Mormons in Salt Lake. This is the brush. I have found the brush. I have found my brush. And I love them, and they're just great.
Oh, here's a great question. It's that time of year. How do you decide how much to charge for a painting that you have done and worked numerous hours on?
Well, you can't get, here's the thing, darling, no one can pay you for the fact that it took you longer to paint than somebody else. I don't care how many hours you spent. You can't charge by the hour like you're a cleaning lady. You know what I mean? It's just, you just can't charge by the hour. So then you have to factor in, you've got to at least get your materials back out. If you've got to figure out how much your stuff cost, right? And if it was an art lesson involved, did you pay for a couple art lessons? I think that's certainly fair to factor that in, But after that, it just depends what the market will bear. We talk about that. If you look at the show we did last month with Daniel Elliott, Daniel is a professional artist here in Houston, and we really addressed that. Okay, here's some white going on top of that now. See that? And then I rinse the brush. So then there's the next thing is this layer of titanium white. Okay, this is your blue is underneath here, and then your titanium white's on top. Okay. That's your next layer of white snow. And I might switch brushes now and get a little smaller one. I'll try one of the Monzas and let you see it. So, because now I need a little more detail, so I'm going to just come up here with the Monza. It's slightly shorter bristles. And I want let's see, where'd the white paint go? I didn't want it thinned out.
Oh, what about those Amazon brushes?
Oh yeah, I like those.
They don't have an angle on that one though, do they?
Yeah, they do.
Oh, do they?
Yeah, I like those actually. For an inexpensive brush, I quite like those. And
they do work quite well.
what did I do with that white paint?
Which paint are you looking for?
I see it. Okay, so this got a little watered down here, this white, so let's put out some more.
That's from your snow making.
Yeah, let's just put out a little, there you go. This got a little watered down here. Just drip a little white here.
All right, here's an example. What should I charge for the 8x10 carousel horses tutorial that I did from you?
Well, I don't know how well you did it. And are people buying your name, or are they just buying the horse? I mean, I don't know how much, but get your materials out of it for sure. And then how much more, look, at the Houston Livestock and Rodeo in Houston, they have an art division, and the seniors in high schools all over the state of Texas, their art goes up for auction. And these kids, and usually the ones that win are usually great. I mean, so it makes it the auction. They're wonderful pieces, and they're kids. And some of their art goes for as high as $80,000. Now, that's probably the last time that kid will see $80,000 for painting in a long time. And if you were a child and you think, well, now my art's worth at least $80,000, good luck selling anything else. Remember, Van Gogh never sold a painting, and he wouldn't ever come down on his price either. So it's not about that. It's about what are your collectors. But I'll tell you what, I'm not a big fan of giving art away for the most part. We do it here on the show sometimes, but like if you have relatives that want some of your art, at least get your materials out. It's not, you know what I mean? That I would say for sure you want to do that. Get some of your materials out for sure. See, I like this little Monza brush. Okay, and then we'll put some more. I'll put some more little branches going this way. See, again, these little angle brushes, you've got such leeway, don't you, with the. And did we lose all our dark under this here with our icicles? Let's put a little bit of our dark back. Okay, there we go. And then I'm going to wipe the brush off and do a little bit of a white edge coming under here too on our ledge. There we go, under our birdhouse. That's fun, right? Now we just have to put the birds in. Come on, you guys, this is fun.
It's great.
Yes,
hey, we had
yes.
a few questions about the silver membership. Let me kind of explain that.
Well, let me dry this while you explain it. All right?
Why don't we do that?
Before I do, I want to answer that one question about the different styles of painting. It depends, what do you do? Again, I'm probably one of the unique artists on YouTube is that we paint all styles, everything from abstracts to photorealism to, to impressionism. This is a tutorial that's coming up in our art academy. Again, you can understand where the snow effect came from, can't you, Trolley? I think that's a really fun one. These are coming up in the weeks to come. Here's one that originally was done by an American artist in the mid-1800s called Hassam. And this is actually a street in Paris, Bonaparte Avenue. And so this is a step-by-step acrylic lesson. It'll be available for Academy members. One of my favorites, all-time favorites that we're doing, is this one. He's called Trouble.
Oh.
And again, different styles of painting. So our job, John and I feel our job is to show you the different ways to paint, and then you decide the style that you want to do to paint. Find your style, find your own handwriting. So those are some of the great lessons that are coming up. We'll show you some more in a little bit. I'm going to dry this, and John's going to tell you about silver memberships and if there's any more slots available.
Okay, while she's muted and doing that, the silver membership is something that we came up with back a couple of years ago. It's an annual membership that we offered. Currently, we do not have any openings. There's a limited number of spots that we do because there's a lot of extra work on our part. As a silver member, they get 12 to 24 downloads out of our on-demand site. And they also get, this is the first year we've been able to get a video just exclusively for them for the first year. Like I said, we don't have any more openings of those right now, and I've already got a waiting list that will not even be completely filled this year if people drop out. I've had no dropouts as of yet. So it's kind of a group of people that helped us in the very beginning that we just wanted to keep saying thank you to. And as long as they stay in, the difference between the 12 to 24 downloads, if you just sign up for the Wave and Water or the VLL and not both, you get 12. If you sign up for both, you get 24.
Yeah, which is kind of a neat thing. It was a nice thing we did, and I think it really was very helpful to us. And when we first, one of the things that John and I have always done is that when we first started this business, and people said, "What are you guys going to do when you retire?" I said, "We're not going to retire. We're going to figure out a way where we can travel and paint, because that's what I want to do." And art galleries, I've been selling in art galleries for years, and sometimes, it can be months goes by before somebody's, willing to, buy something that's, $12,000, $15,000. And because the artwork goes in those categories, right? And my publishers, publish stuff, but I thought this is what I want to do. And so John and I, when we got together and came up with this business plan, when we first started out, yes, we were offering new videos every week. We didn't have very many. You just kind of hang in there. So we started out, I think our membership was like $15 a month for seniors. Really, it was like free, and it came with personal art coaching. But what we told people was back in 2016 when we first started this, right? And now we're up to 2018. Well, really 2015, 16 is when we started it, right? Whatever it was.
A long time ago in a
long
galaxy
time
far,
far,
far away.
We told people that if you don't drop out, if you stay with us, we will grandfather you in that price. And as long as I'm alive and kicking, you'll get personal art coaching as long as you don't drop out. When you drop out, you have to come back in at the current price. And every year our price has gone up as our expenses have gone up on our camera. We started off with a $350 camera. And now, we've got thousands of dollars. We put most of the money that we earn, it goes back into equipment. And you guys, when they're watching us, free on YouTube, you're benefiting from the cameras and all that stuff too, and our technology. And the way we present ourselves. First you just saw my hands, now you see more of that. Sometimes you just see my hands, depends on whether I feel like getting dolled up. Anyway, so that's how the silver membership came about. We just said, this is what we've done, and so we've always tried to appreciate the people that have helped us and all along the way, and we thank everybody. And like, for instance, this year, for instance, in Canada and Australia, because of the exchange rate was so awful when we first started, we gave the Canadians and the Australians a huge discount, and you guys still get one. I mean, much good. So you're not paying any more than our friends in the United States are paying. And after January 1st, that goes away, unless, of course, you're one of our members already, and then you'll still continue to get the discounted rate. So, we've just always tried to support everybody on that way. Now, I've put out some regular red. This is Naphtha Crimson. This is like your red, your primary red on the color wheel. Cad Red Medium is more of an orange red, so I want to start with my birds, and I want to put I'm just going to paint them red here. I've kind of drawn them in. Remember we drew them in? And I'm going to just go ahead and, let's see, we decided he was looking this way. We turned him around, didn't we? You guys, we turned him around and had him doing this.
Yeah, he's looking the other way.
And he's looking the other way, and his little wings going back this way. Well, we can do that. I don't mind. It was a good suggestion, really. It was a really excellent suggestion. Just one of those ones where you're going, wow, everybody pays attention, don't they? I should pay attention to me. So anyway, so there's that little bird, and that's all we're going to do for him for now. We're just throwing in a little shape. They're a little kind of fat. The nice thing about birds is, for the most part, they're all the same shape. You just make them different colors. And sometimes they have little headdresses on, right? So here, the chalk won't get me as much detail as the it's a little brushwork, so I might ignore some of the chalk, but I do know that the little headrest goes back this way. And I'm going to suggest, one of the things that helped me when I was trying to figure out how to do these birds was I just Googled, on Google Images, photographs of cardinals. And, winter cardinals, photographs of red cardinals. And I really just studied the shape of them. And I think that once you get the shape down in your mind, then I think it'll help a lot, okay? So we're going to say, here's the tail coming down here. So your little back's got to be here, because here you are bending over. I don't have any...
Here's a good question for you. I am also following Cinnamon and Jane. I am very beginner. What should I practice?
Well, you know what? They all paint differently than I do, so I don't know what to tell you.
Well, all three of them all paint differently.
Yep, they all paint differently. I guess you just have to pick somebody. Because at that point they all paint a little differently. But here's the thing: I tell people to learn, in order to learn to paint like you and find your own handwriting in this, right? What you need to do is, and I feel very strongly about this. What you need to do is learn how to blend and how to do the basics. Now, Cinnamon does, show people how to do some of the basics, and she does more of I do more of the fine art. She does more, very simplistic stuff, and it's fun. You can, great paintings. I like what she paints. And in fact, if you're a member of our Facebook club, she's the only other artist that we feature on our Facebook club. If somebody wants to post something from a YouTube artist, we just, generally speaking, you're looking at 50 years of experience as a professional artist. Cinnamon over 25. We probably have, between the two of us, you get a lot of knowledge between the two of us, is what I'd say. But I would encourage you to go to our on-demand site. It's called gingercookondemand.com, and I would get the best deal we've offered, and we just did it, really is, it's like practically free, is for what you've got 23 videos on the beginner stuff you have to know. Everything from washing your brushes 24 videos from washing your brushes to blending to shading to dry brushing. All these videos on there, and some of them are 15 minutes, some of them are an hour, and it's like under $50. And you own that. And I would say do those and then see who you want to, and then, because doesn't matter if you want to learn. And this is the thing: if you want to learn to paint like this is very doable. People look at that and say, oh, I never could do it. This isn't true. We've taken people in a couple of years, and I'm telling you what, we've got some stars that are just painting like crazy, and they learn the basics. Because if you can't, this is like learning, when you learn the basics, it's like learning to divide before you try to do algebra. But I'm telling you what, we get people there, and that's what's so exciting. All right, so I've got this much on the birds. I'm going to take a little yellow now, a little gold. I'm going to go over that red, just like that. There's a little beak. And let's see, here's this little beak right there. And I'm going to do a little beak right here. There, so far so good, yeah? Okay. Now, did I dry these? I forget. I was going to.
No, you have not dried the birds yet.
All right, let me just do a little bit of take that little bit of the light, I want to do a little bit of a light chest right here. And I'm just going to come in here like this and say, here's a little bit of a light chest. It's not quite that light. Put a little red with it. So that's a good question. That's a good question. Everybody does something differently. It's like, they do. Everybody does different things, and different techniques.
We have found people that try to follow all three of those, because those are the three popular ones. They get very, very confused, because it's very different teaching techniques on all of them. So look at the paintings, look at the teachers, see how they teach, and pick one and really learn them from that one. Don't try to keep going with all three, because that will drive you nuts.
Well, because you're going to get contradictions, right?
Yeah, they have different opinions.
Absolutely. Honestly, you do. You do get different opinions. I had an art teacher one time, and I'm telling you what, this woman was nuts. She just sat there and she said, well, what you do is you mix a color. When you get a really good color, you put it in a baby food jar, and you keep it in case you can't get it again. And this happened when Cinnamon was in college, junior college. She couldn't take the art class because there weren't enough people. But they had this adults where you could audit the class, and I wasn't letting her get out of her art class. So that's all right. I'll bring some friends. We'll fill that class because, you know, taxpayers, we'll go up there and we'll take that silly class up at the Tom Ball Junior College, which we did. And so this lady was sitting there with this absolute nonsense, you know, and she was my age, and I could have taught the class. I was just keeping my mouth shut going, thinking, what a moron. She just thinks it's really good color. But that's what absolutely she believed. She wasn't trying to be a moron. She didn't know how to mix colors. And, but you know what? So that's how she kept her colors. We actually had to find baby food jars and put colors in them and stuff like that. But you know what I learned from this lady? I learned how to use tape. I'd never heard of tape before. I learned how to use tape. I learned how to stretch a canvas. I learned all kinds of stuff from her. She wasn't a very good artist, but she knew some stuff. Every artist knows something that you can learn from. I think that's absolutely true, John. Everybody has something they can offer. And so it sounds like we sound like a little snotty if we don't say that. Everybody's got some different ways of doing things. My goodness, look at Eric showing us how to put those metal things together. Everybody, you know, that's the nice thing about YouTube. When I was trying to figure out how to do Social Security and what to sign up for, I must have looked at 25 or 30 videos of people trying to explain it, and I finally found one guy, and was he better than the other people? And maybe not, but he made sense to me. I guess that's what John's trying to say. Find the person that makes sense to you.
At least start there. Now, you know, coming up, we learn from other people. Well, again, Ginger learned from other artists too. I'm just saying, in the beginning, when you're a beginner, it's very confusing to listen to Ginger, listen to Cinnamon, listen to Jane, listen to everybody, and you're going to get conflicting reports, and you're just going to be pulling your hair out. Just pick one person to get your basics. When you're comfortable, then definitely go to other artists, because everybody's got great tips on what to do.
Yeah, they do. Sometimes it's fun even to watch an oil painting artist and just see something they do. You wouldn't paint oil paints the same way acrylics, but sometimes it's kind of fun to see what they do, isn't it? You know, I mean, I have great respect for everybody that's painting. And then what's happening with YouTube, which I really love, is the fact that YouTube does not, I'm going to put a little bit of gold right here, just lighten this chest up on both of these guys. And I think I need a little yellow to get those beaks a bit oranger, a little bit cad yellow medium. So, you know, we've got great respect for YouTube in the sense that, you know, they could be charging all of us to be on here. Now, it's true, we do this for free. It's free for us, right? And somebody says, well, surely you must make money on the ads. Well, you know, I guess if you had like 10 million followers, I think you probably are making money on the ads. And most people are not making money on the ads. There's, you know, this is, you know, some artists are selling their artwork on YouTube, and that's a way that they can make money. Other people are finding clients in their own home. Some people have gone to Patreon and asked for money. We have not done that. What we have said was, if you, for $10, $9.95, you can get a week's worth of free videos from us to watch. You know, I mean, and that's over 400 every month. Every week it becomes a better deal. You know, I think that, you know, we didn't do Patreon. We just said we'll offer that, right? Gotta lighten this up just a hair right there. So, I mean, I thought that was pretty cool. I mean, that's what we do. We haven't done the Patreon thing. But you know what? It's, and we scholarship people, too. Well, that's the other thing we do, which I think is really nice. You know, I don't know why I'm defending us. I'm going to stop. I feel like I'm defending us. I don't think I need to.
You don't need to do anything.
All right. So, all right. Now, you see I've got the birds in there. And they're a little smaller than what I originally painted in. But I want to show you this on the chalkboard so you can kind of see what I'm doing. Sometimes it's kind of hard to tell. But there's this thing with these birds. I should have printed out a photo of one, I think. Maybe it would have helped. But basically what you've got is when you've got the beak and you've got the head that's going back like that, right? And you've got this beak, right? And then you've got his little head. And he's got his little head going back like this. He's got this mass that comes down like this, that comes down. It's a little black mass. It goes over the top of his beak like this, comes down like a little triangle, okay? And his eyes in here somewhere, okay? In this mask, and then his head goes up like this, kind of like that, like a little Indian war bonnet. Then he's kind of fat like this, right? So you're looking at this kind of triangular shape here for the mask. Okay, that's helpful. I hope it is. Do you have the one that we did that we're going to be showing soon of the? And I'm using a little bit of. You could be using purple and ultramarine blue. I'm going to use a little bit of. What am I using here? Payne's Gray, which is black and a little ultramarine blue. So I'm making a little bit of this, kind of this like triangle shape, and then bringing it down his tummy. Does that make sense? Little triangle shape back here for the mask. See? So it's very subtle. These birds are little, so they don't need a lot of detail. So you know that the triangle shape's coming back over here like this, and then coming in front like this. He's like, it's really cute. They're like, they really are. They're wearing these little masks. They look mischievous, don't they?
They look like they're up to no good.
Yeah. I'm going to bring the, now, I'm going to take a little brown here and say, maybe we got a little feety coming over the snow here, like that. And maybe on here, let's take a little bit of gold. Brown, maybe we're seeing there's a little foot right here. Don't think it's going to show up because we've got black on it. Okay, so now my birds don't show up. So now our next trick is to take cad red medium. Haha, look what happened there. Little cad red medium. Look what happened. Look how bright our birds just got. Okay. And cad red medium is how you brighten up a red. Okay. And you can see the difference between cad red medium. And this is the difference between student grade paint and let's bring it back that way, and professional acrylics, is that the pigments in them are better. Okay, so if you're having trouble and you're not getting the reds, dry it and do several coats of red, or paint the bird white first. That's another trick too if you're having trouble getting it light. And it's got a dark, kind of, there's a little dark thing in some of the tails too. There we go, a little wing. And he's sitting there like that. Let's just put in a little wing back like that. Okay, just their backs are kind of round. Here's our little wings. Okay. So, that's fun, right? And that was such a good suggestion about turning it the other way. And I'm going to use just a dot of white. And just do a little eye here like that. And then I'll do the black on top. Now this is where we're playing Russian roulette here. Just touching a little black dot in the white center, so the eye isn't so big. There we go. Oh, he's looking up now. That's cute. That was a happy accident, as Bob Ross used to say, happy accidents.
They look like the Angry Birds.
They kind of do, don't they? I mean, they're kind of fun. I thought this was sort of fun. This was sort of a fun thing. I know people like to do, where's some of our other stuff? We were going to show that too, some of our holiday stuff that we've done.
Oh, I need to go to the other room.
Yeah, John's going to run to the other room real quick, and we'll talk about this.
I've got to get this done first, though, because you're doing the giveaway, and we didn't get a form
We've got to
set
get
up.
the room. Now I'm just using white paint. Sometimes at this point, you know, you can add a few little branches and just use the white paint, and you know, which is fine. Okay. And here, let's just do that like that. A little bit of white paint, and just to do it. And these Monza brushes are really nice. Do you see where I'm holding it like this? And so then I'm using just the tip of this brush, and I'm just kind of pulling it up like that. Can you see it on my finger? Like that? Can you see that? And this brush is stiff enough and short enough.
No, they can't see that.
Why not?
Well, I'm close up on the bird. Now go back to where you were.
Okay, all right, I'm going to show you. Like right here, I've got it just on the tip of this brush. I'm going to put it over the bird, right? Barely touch it, and I'm using just the last tip of this, just the last little bit of that, those last few hairs. And the thing about this Monza brush, you can either just put it straight down like an angle, like this, right? See, and that's good. or
And
you
this is
can
why we
just
like
barely
tiny sounds.
touch it and you drag it. And in order for a brush to work well like this, it has to be stiff enough in order to hold that paint or enough resistance where you can get that thin line. The thing that happens with oil painters is that when they do a thin line, it's easy for them. Their lines just go so thin, so quick. The way their paint flows, it's just not even fair, right? So acrylic painters, they see that and go, well, it must be me. It really isn't you, right? And honestly, it's not you. I promise you, it's not you. But there is a feeling that it must be you because it is tricky to get thin lines with acrylics. It's certainly doable, but you know, a good brush. People say, what should I buy first, a good brush or paint? I would say at least have one good brush. And I really want to thank Judy for these little monster. Well, we actually went out and bought some more. We liked them so well, didn't we?
Yes, we did.
Why is he saying it like that?
Because we did.
Okay, all right, there. See, now our birdhouse has some. Now, if we really wanted to do it, we'd do like this on the inside. Ooh, look at that, see? That's mean, isn't it? We're going to put a little light right on the bottom here, between about 7 o'clock and 3 o'clock on the circle. It's where that little bit of light goes. Now.
All right, you got to keep yourself basically where you are kind of leave the room.
Okay, and he's leaving the room. Have you ever heard the expression, the best way to start a conversation is to leave the room? Can I answer one question before you go? Maybe you've got something I could be working on?
Nope.
No, he doesn't have anything you could be working on. Well, fine, John. Okay, so they're still pretty bright. Don't you think I think this is cute, you guys. And again, you could put like here, if you wanted to get real cute with this, you could put like a little sign up here, right? Oh yeah, I forgot to put the hanger for the birdhouse. Right like this. I'm going to just say this birdhouse is hanging straight up here like this. So what's it attached to? Well, it probably better be attached to this then, huh? Because I didn't have it attached to anything. There you go. It's hanging right there. I think that's probably straighter than that. All right, there's our little rope for our birdhouse hanging straight down from there. We'll put that there. But so we've got. So I guess the thing on brushes is that the other thing is that brushes wear out, and then the other thing that comes up is your canvas. Because if you have a very rough canvas, it will wear your brushes out faster, which is why we always advocate sanding your brushes. Because it's like, it's like if you ever run your fingernail on sandpaper, they get, shorter, right? And your brushes will actually, you can feel some of your canvases are so rough, and that does wear out your brushes. But now, what do you do with brushes that are worn out? Well, like for instance, let me show you some. This is a brush that's kind of, it's still good, but I would still use it. I mean, I don't throw them away or anything. I'm just saying that when they wear out, then it's harder to get the detail. Like here's a good example of a brush that's kind of, see, it says filbert. It means it's kind of circular like that. It's kind of frayed a bit, but I still use it. But if I need to get real detail, then I try to keep some brushes that are really good for that. Now, I want to just show you this. This is the one thing you can do, and let's just do this one more time. Here's our Cad Red Medium. Let me show you the next coat of red. Look at this. This is the third coat of red. And that's the weird part about red that's so annoying, is that red really just kind of disappears on you. Sometimes if you want something to show up, 3 coats is a good thing. Just saying, it's good to know, right? Because it doesn't always translate. Here is, John brought the Village Series, and I want to show you this because, again, we're going to be giving away tonight in our contest, our giveaway contest. This is our Village Series. Here's our toy shop. And you see you paint around the sides of them like that, put your toys in.
It's called gallery wrap.
That's called a gallery wrap. These are 6 by 8, and they come in sets, all right? And we've got a candy store, and we've got a little bakery. See, fun little bakery, and look at you come around the sides, and it's got all of that. And then we've got Oh, we even have like a little dress shop with a snowman, which we thought was really fun, kind of avant-garde. And you set these up on a mantle or something, hang them on the wall, kind of do a little motif. This is our little hotel, which but or it could be a church, depending on what you wanted. And see the little side windows. These lessons are exclusive on our on-demand website. These guys all go together too. Like for instance, the bakery and this go together, right? These all kind of go, and so you can kind of put these together side by side. This one is the gazebo. See how this tree kind of fits with this? This is the gazebo. How cool is that, right? So again, this is our village, Winter Village series. And again, so if somebody wins this, wins one of our single credit for our downloadable lessons on the on-demand site, there's 2 lessons in each one of these village series. And it might be something you want. So we're going to give away 3. And of course, we've got a lot of other paintings on there too, but we just thought you might like to know that the Village Series, which is only available as a downloadable lesson on our site, is what we're giving away tonight. And you may want to do one of these. I love the fountain, don't you? The fountain and the gazebo. How fun is that, right? So anyway, you can just set these up. They kind of just set up like that. And you can set them up around a mantle and kind of decorate for the holidays. And personalize them. That's what I'm saying about these, which are so cool. So
these are not on the Academy site. They're only available for sale. But if you're an Academy member, ask for your discount, 20% discount before purchasing.
Yeah.
We can't do a retro. If you bought them, there's no way we can do a refund because it's not
through
sold
us.
through us.
But anyway, but Academy members get a discount on any of the downloadable lessons. Okay. All right. So that's what we've got here, and John and I did a really cute little diorama with those, and set it up with stuff, and it was really cute. Those are fun to do. So I think all in all, when we look at our birdies, I think I like the bird going this way. That's such a good suggestion. Now we have to still do a little snow. Why don't we start that? We'll get the drawing going, right? Have you entered? If you want to enter to win a downloadable lesson,
put that information out there for the public.
Yeah, we wanted to, invite you to join that now and download that now. However they do that, John.
They do it in magic.
And also, I wanted to show you one of the lessons coming up this month. Because John and I are going to be traveling for several weeks starting this Sunday. And so I wanted to show, this is one of the Academy lessons that we're going to be releasing. Every week, our members get a new one. This is called Three Amigos, and that's going to be also an Academy release too. And we've got some great stuff coming up for YouTube, super stuff coming up for YouTube. All the lessons have been designed and filmed. And then, of course, we're going to take you on YouTube on our journey through the, wherever we go, you're going with us, and we'll take you along. Okay, so you all knew I had a toothbrush when I started, yes and yes?
Yes and yes. It's in the water. It
Mike?
sinks down below.
Yeah, they have a tendency of sneaking. Oh yeah, where'd you go? Not here. Yeah, here maybe. Here. Yeah, here it is. Okay. So here's my little damp toothbrush. Now I'm going to come back over here to the white paint, and I'm going to add some snow to this. Same way. I always tell people to test the snow and make sure it's nice and dry. Here's the trick. You don't want to. Here's what you want to do is you kind of want to cover some of this up a bit, but don't have a straight line like this because that'll look terrible. When you're doing snow, and this also works for beach sand, it's a great trick for beach sand, different colors, right? Have it kind of a rag like that where it's just not so perfect, right? And then let's see, let's do a quick test. Here we go.
Big snowstorm coming in.
There's a little bit of snow up here, right? And like I say, if you had any branches that you weren't so fond of, you can just kind of hide them that way. And we got a little bit too much on you, so we'll just take some of you off. Here we go. Let's just like that. So you can overdo this. You can have overkill, but here you go.
Oh,
there you guys.
House. Yeah, the Michigan House will be released sometime during the coming up.
While we're gone.
Everything's Everything is built and ready to go. We just have to, release them in time.
Okay, so I'm just kind of
Do
cleaning
you
up
know
with
what
this.
we're releasing this week?
Um,
The horse painting will
oh
not.
no! Show the one in the fall. We're releasing that this week. The thing in the fall. The
The
fall.
thing in the fall.
The mulberries. Oh, you guys.
Oh, mulberry, the big
Oh,
one.
yeah. Let me just clean my hands. Don't you
Yeah,
think this is a
definitely. Wash and wax your
great
hands.
trick, right? I mean, don't you love this? I think this came out a lot better. Don't you like the gradation of the light of the sky and the
Okay, she wants
woods?
the mulberry one. Anybody know where it is?
The big mulberry bush, Mulberry Hill. Where's Mulberry Hill?
The big painting's outside.
Yeah, show the big one.
You want the
This
big
is
one?
such a cool lesson. Again, it's those 6 hours of video lesson, and John's got 12 hours in editing on this lesson for our Academy members. This is a great time to be a member of Ginger Cook Live Gallery, Academy of Fine Art and Acrylic Painting. So I'm telling you what, we've got some of the best lessons ever. Though I have to say, I love this. I think this would make a card, right? And if you had a lot of family members, you could add more birds.
Big birds, little
and
birds.
then in the little birds, and maybe even add a few little birdhouses more. You could put in a few more. It'd be fun, kind of fun, right?
You could do a condo.
Oh, condo, a birdie condo.
Are you thinking
All right, my hands are pretty clean, but I'm going to just move this out of the way. I want you to see this.
You're going to have to wait.
John's going to back out. Wait till you see this painting. It's what is this? 20 by 24?
Yes.
And this is probably one of the biggest ones we've done for the year for our Wave Water gets ones this big, but for Academy members. Are you ready?
Oh, I'm ready.
Look at that. Can you see
Pull
it?
it down a little bit towards you.
Look at that.
There we go.
Isn't that just cool? This is called Mulberry Hill. This will be a video lesson library released for this coming week. We've already, we got a little behind, but every month you'll get at least 4. What'd you do?
I didn't turn the link on.
John's turning the link on right now. I'll leave this.
Sorry, guys. Go back. Try it again.
Try it again. We're sorry we didn't get the link. John tried it. All right, so you see now someone said, when do you do mixing white? See the little smoke coming up out of the chimneys? That's transparent mixing white. See this smoke right here? That's transparent. That's when you want transparent mixing white. That sort of asks that question, right?
It's kind of used for atmospheric perspective.
Atmospheric perspective. And you see these houses all in the back up here? This is very much, and this is an original Ginger Cook painting, very much in the style that you often saw Thomas Kincaid do. I know a lot of people like that. How do you paint something like that? This is how. Again, it's a completely original piece. I love this one. I think you're going to love it too. And again, this will be released probably around Saturday, right before we go. Between Thursday and Saturday, we'll get this one released, we think, right before we take off. But that's I think our great big fancy one lesson. And then we've got where's the Michigan house? I'm going to put our little painting back.
Got that.
And he's going to find this other stuff. I just like to, it's kind of show and tell, but it's fun to show you what we're painting. I'm telling you what, there's some great stuff being painted. This is entitled The Michigan House, and it's called that because a lot of my inspiration comes from photographs John takes. He's a professional photographer. And this was a photograph of a house that he took when he was living in Michigan, and I added the garden. Right? That's kind of fun. And then somebody asked about, we always do, every month we have at least one. We have so many lessons, no one can do them all, right? We understand that. We're not trying to overwhelm you. We understand that you're going to do some, not others. But this one is one of my favorites. This is a one cookie lesson, and I've got a trick on how to do this. You won't believe this lesson. This is going to be coming up probably the following week. It's a one cookie lesson, and it's called Red Rocks and Lake Reflections. And this is a really, really excellent lesson on simple acrylic painting and how to make reflections in the water. Really a good picture and easy to do. And again, we have for those of you who are just starting out, we've got a whole list of very, very simple lessons that you build up to do the more complicated ones. I'm going to take my Posca pen and probably sign this.
Did the snow dry?
It's probably dry right here. Feels dry. Feels dry. And John's gonna, I could do silver too. That might be pretty. This is silver. Don't you think silver would look good?
Yeah.
Maybe we'll do silver.
Goes with the houses.
Generally speaking, silver is kind of an interesting, and other markers that I've used, silver smears, and this does not. Posca pens stay wet for about 5 minutes, and if you hit them with the hairdryer, and then after that, the ink is permanent. But the reason that they don't dry out like regular painting pens, and they don't dry out, is because the air doesn't immediately start drying the ink. So I think I'm going to paint it. I'm going to right up here. I think right here. I think is where I'm going to do it.
That high up, really?
Well, maybe I don't. You've got to leave it. You've got to leave at least this much for a frame. So maybe right here.
I don't want to influence you.
Well, you didn't, but good try. But I do like the silver on there. I think that looks better than the white. Then I'll put them here. Do you hear the click? Let me do that again for you. See, and they seal.
They do.
I used to wrap my pens in tape and put them in plastic bags, and I'd still only get one or two uses. I've had these for like almost a year, and I still have ink. Of course, it's just great. And Cinnamon, my daughter Cinnamon, this was a really good testimonial. She went and did a workshop, and she had people coming in every 15 minutes to paint rocks, and then because of that, they used these Posca pens, and the rocks were real rough, and they never ran out of ink, and like 6 groups of people were all able to use the same pens and scribble all over these rocks and paint with them, and the pens were still good afterwards. She could really she loves them now. She's a convert too. And we have if somebody says, well, what about the stuff that you like? We have on our Pinterest. I have a Pinterest board page called Ginger Cook Live on Pinterest. It's all one word, Ginger Cook Live. And in the different boards, one is art materials I recommend with a link to where you can get Posca pens. Okay, there you go. There's the red slash through the name, like that. And I think I'm pretty good there. I don't think I have to. There's the red tail again. Man, I'm telling you, the red just disappears, doesn't it? Come back here with the red. There, okay. And just that's the 4th coat of red, just sort of touching those up. So that's that painting. How are we doing on the drawings, John?
We've got 253 right now. They're still coming in quite steady.
Okay.
Is Ginger going to add the icicles and the blue on the branches? I guess like
I should do that. Yeah, good thing. I'll do that. Good, thank you. That was great. That could be, you know what? That's an observation.
She's going to get a question of the day out of that. Are you kidding? That's the
question of the day, because I would have forgot, and then I would have felt bad. So you have asked the question of the day, and yes, Teresa, you have won one of our downloadable lessons.
Automatically.
Automatically. You don't even, if we pull your name in the contest, you'll have won too. So don't still enter, but you have won one of our downloadable lessons. Just contact us. First, go to Ginger Cook On Demand and pick out the lesson that you would like. For instance, on there, I've got this cool chimpanzee, and that's only on there. And I've got a palette knife lesson that's only on the On Demand site. Got a lot of interesting. We've got a Venice scene that's oh my gosh, the Venice lesson.
That's not a one cookie.
That's not a one cookie though, right? It's not a one credit. These are all one credit. These are all one credit lessons that we're doing.
And when we say that, when you go to the lesson, it'll say the price, and it'll have next to it how many credits it is. And the credits are what the silver members use to get their downloads. They get 12 credits or 24 credits a year.
Yeah, this is a good one here, like this. Oh, thank you very much for that.
And Nell would like to know what makes the red disappear.
Well, that's a good question. I like that. If I would give you a question of the day too.
Give her a question of the day. Why not?
That is a great question. Give me my. This is why we're doing a drawing. I'm going to do a demonstration.
Not on one of our good paintings.
Yeah, come on. Give me one of those things. Give me the stack, and I'll show you.
Oh.
Here's what happens: is that red and green are complements, and so that means that they're opposite each other on the color wheel. Here's our stack of stuff. Let me add a few more of the icicles, and then we're going to talk about that. So anytime you put, like for instance, yellow only paints over white. If you need something bright yellow, you've got to paint it white first because it just can't, the pigment just isn't strong enough to break the barriers, okay?
So now
Oh,
you
that's
two
fun.
also have automatically won a downloadable lesson. Go to Ginger Cook On Demand, select your lesson, and go and fill out the contact us and let us know which one you'd like to
And
have.
incidentally, if you don't want to keep this for yourself, you're welcome to tell us who you want us to gift it to, by the
We
way.
can do that too.
You can do that too. All right, so here's kind of a light pink.
That's a nice
And,
thing.
you know, here's sort of a, let's find a dark, and here's a light color. And let's find a dark brown. Okay, this is really dark. Let's do that. Okay, these three. All right, so what happens is that when you're doing red over something really dark, like this, and here's the red, just by nature of the fact that it's close to the same value, it's not going to show up. And what we mean by that is that value is what the color would look like if it was gray, if you took a black and white picture. So on a grayscale, on your color wheel, you have something called a grayscale. And it's very helpful when figuring out how to mix colors too, the ratios of how much pigment to put in something, you know, how much white or how much dark. So if it's on this side of the grayscale, it's kind of a painted color wheel. It's fine when it doesn't have paint all over it. Ooh-doo-doo-doo.
Yeah.
Well, they all have paint on them. Well, maybe not. Maybe this one's a little better. So on this side of the grayscale, let's get the tape off of that, right? You know, on this side of the grayscale, if you were to put red on any of those tones, you know, it would show up. But if you get over on this side, they don't. See how this red doesn't show up? Now, let me show you a little cad red. It's a little bit brighter, isn't it? But not by much, okay? But now, conversely, if you put it over something light, okay, same color, look at the difference. So a lot of times, it just depends on what you put the pigment over. And then let's do the cad red. So what you may, sometimes, for instance, see the difference? These are the same colors, that just on these, they're just brighter here. So what you want to remember is like, if, for instance, if you're painting, this is fun. Let's just paint something, shall we? Well, you have a contest. I want everybody to have a chance to enter the contest, right? So, all right, we got to use up some paint anyway. So I'm going to paint something, right? I'm going to say that I've got some sort of beautiful greenish yellow leaves here, right? Okay, there we go. I'm gonna just do something with the green and the blue, right? And I've got some nice greens, some golds. Here's some sort of green stuff coming up here like this, right?
Green stuff.
All right, so I've got that, right? And then I want to put a red flower. Well, if you try to put wet red over green, what happens is it goes muddy on you. It just turns muddy. Because green and red are complements of each other, and when you mix them together, here's a little bit of green, here's a little bit of green color, here's some red, and what happens is you just get this mud color. So a lot of times you'll see people, and they're painting along, they didn't take the time to dry the green. So then their flowers just all look like a hot mess, right? Because they didn't, it wasn't that they weren't good painters, they just didn't dry it, right? So now if I dry this, we're waiting for you to enter the contest, right? Giving everybody a chance.
Go ahead.
So to dry this, right?
Yeah, she's talking while she's drying that, and I muted her because that's what we do when she tries to dry, to soften it down a little bit. If you're interested in the Art Academy, it's the website gingercooklive.gallery. You can find more information about the memberships and the different things they have to offer.
All right, so now I don't want any green on my brush. Here, I'm wiping it off here. Now I'm going to take some red now and put it on top of this this dried green, all right, right there. Now look how much brighter it is than there. Do you see that? That's red. There you go. So it's brighter because the green is dried. But now, how bright would that green be, would that flower be, if I put it on top of dried white? And this is kind of a trick. Whenever you're painting something, like a group of flowers, some flowers have to be like the star of the show, like your actors and supporting actors and then your cast, okay? So you want your actor, your lead actor or actors to be brighter than your other stuff, right? Whether it's, I think I did a video today, a free video on Facebook for one of our Facebook club members, and she had done some Christmas tree balls. And again, they were all the same size and the same value. And I said, if you make some brighter, that you got to have a star of the show, otherwise you've got wallpaper, okay? So now, if I were to take some white and say, like right here, like above that, right here, I'm going to take some white. All right, now I'm going to dry that, and I'm going to paint red over that and let you see the difference. So one of the things you can do when you're painting a group of flowers is the ones you want to be brighter, or the bird maybe you wanted to show up a little more, you paint in white, okay?
There's not going to be a 10-minute painting tonight. We won't have time to get it dried and varnished and get it sent out before we leave. So we're doing the downloadable lessons this evening for our little giveaway.
Ooh, hear the thunder? Wow. Okay,
I
so
do.
now here it is. Now this is the same color over white. See the difference? Here's red over wet green, which just is practically non-existent. Here's red over green, and here's red over white. Okay, and then...
Could you get the red over green that bright if you keep layering it? Or will the white always win?
Whites always will win.
Yeah,
White always will win. Always will win. Let's just do it. You want to do it? Here, let's just take some more red right here. See, it's always going to be, you know, it doesn't really matter. It's always going to be darker, right?
You're never going to get there.
Never going to get there. So, and then if I do the red over this, right, here's the next layer, see? It's still brighter, see? Because the white's coming through. Now, look what happens when I do a little Cad Red Medium. See how that's a little bit, how that'll add a highlight? Cad Red Medium will add a little highlight to red, always add a highlight. But again, your lightest, brightest red will be over white, or yellow. You could have done yellow too.
Now here's an interesting question. Would your white be brighter if you painted it over yellow?
Well, no, because here's no, but you know, that's, I mean, this is fun. What you ought to do is just take a piece of paper, you know, canvas like this, and do some experiments with yourself and make notes. Make notes about what you found that works. For instance, here's some, you know, here's some yellow right here, and that's dry. So let's try that, right? So now let's take a little white and put over this yellow right here, right, like that. Shall we? Just put that white right there, and let's try it. Okay.
Okay. Things going on in the chat here if I'm missing too much.
I think that's still a little tacky, but all right, let's see how we go. That may be, the white may be.
See if I'm keeping up with them.
I think that white isn't dry. I don't know. I have to dry that a little bit more.
This is one thing a lot of people, you know, she's talking over there, and
we have our art Sherpa fan that Cinnamon gave us. Oh, wait till you see this, you guys. You're going to be so jealous. I got this from Cinnamon. I got the last one. She has these kits. I guess she's pre-sold. You'll have to talk to her about it. They're awesome. They're awesome. And we saw this fan. Oh, gosh.
Not that bag.
Where's your bag? Where's the art Sherpa bag here?
I got 2 bags from her.
We got 2 art Sherpa bags. Wait till you see this fan. OMG, it is so cool. I said, I have to have one of these fans. Just awesome. Here we go. And she did this for her workshops because people don't have hair dryers, right? I'm telling you what, you hook up 3 hair dryers in a room, I have blown out all the fuses in a university doing that. See my little fan? See the colors in it when it goes around? Can you guys see it? See, and I can
no, not where you're holding it.
No?
Okay, yeah, there. Hold it down a little bit.
You see that?
Oh, yeah.
Isn't that cute? And it says the art Sherpa. You have to talk to Cinnamon. It's really cool.
Everybody should want one.
Oh, I wanted one. I'm telling you, I got it. Well, Mom, I get it. Right? I get it. So now, all right, red over the white, right? That's what you asked, right?
Yeah.
Over the white that was over the yellow.
We want to know, you have yellow down first and then white on top. Would it be brighter?
I don't think it's brighter.
No.
Then it's just brighter over white. Now, it might be brighter over, What if you did 2 or 3 layers of white? Would it be brighter? Probably. You know what I mean? And just the plain white, because I did a pretty thin layer of white. But you can see how much bigger this flower is than this one, and then this one over green is nothing. So those are the things you got to think about. It's just if you're putting you're talking about a dark value. For instance, when we talk about that, are we about ready for the contest? I can go on. Here's the thing. Here's our light values on the color wheel. That means if we had a black and white picture of, say this was black and white. We took a black and white photograph this. Some of the colors would fall on this side and some of the colors would fall on this side. Probably want something with more color. Oh, let's take one of these. Here, let's take this one, this little snowman, right? So this light blue here, right? This light blue, if it were, it's going to fall on this side of the grayscale. So what I know is that it's going to be 98% white and a bit of blue. But this dark green right here, do you see the dark green in the pine tree? That green falls on this side of the grayscale, so I know that it's going to be, it's going to be 98% blue and some yellow and brown. So these are all, we have videos on this, on color mixing and stuff, but a dollar color wheel is so worth the help, because it saves you money in mixing colors when you understand. If you're going on the light side of the grayscale, it's either going to be 98% yellow or 98% white. And if on the dark side of the grayscale, it's going to be 98% your darker color. And also, when you're on the light side, this is important to know too, and I'm just going to mention it. If you've got a color, say like this, right, like this, can you see this color right here? This is a good color. Can you see this color right here? Here, let's put a little yellow in it, like that. See that color right there? You can't get back over here to this side of the grayscale. You can't dump enough dark paint in this because it's got white in it to get back over here. However, you'd have to use so much. If you're on the dark side of the grayscale with the colors, let's put the yellow back out again. I think this information is important because people always say, well, I wish I could afford the lessons, it's too much money. And I tell you what, you burn up much more money than that just wasting paint trying to mix colors. Just everybody does, they mix too much. So here's some little bit of yellow, here's some dark blue. Okay, so there's our dark green, right? You're with me? There's our dark green color right there, right? Everybody, that's the dark green, yes? I can keep adding yellow to this and white, and I can kick it up and make it lighter, but you can't go back.
So once you're on the dark side, you can get to the light side, but if you're on the light side, you're not going to get to the dark side.
That's right. You're not going to get to the dark side, right? You're just not, right? We'll just... All right, so we'll just put that away because we're not making that anything tonight. Okay, so let's do a drawing for our, I think we should close our stuff now. I think we've kind of fooled around, and you guys have been awesome to let us talk about all the stuff we're doing, and we appreciate it, and we hope we answered some questions.
Put the birds back out there if you would.
I'm going to put the birdies back out. Let's get the one that's looking the correct direction, like that. Here's the birds. This was tonight's. I like this one a little bit better than that one, but they're both nice.
Oh, those pencils. Could you put the lid back on those and flip those over so people can see those again?
Yeah, I can. I'm telling you what, I've so enjoyed these, and they work in a pencil sharpener.
Where's the one more? Oh, look at it. She's putting them all back for me.
Like an electric pencil sharpener, which I think is kind of cool. These are called Gioconda 24 Drawing, Toning, Coloring Soft Pastel Pencils. Really nice. I like them a lot.
And once again, we thank Robin for those.
Yeah, thank you very much, and thank Judy for these Monza brushes. I'd never heard of those, but the Silver Brush Company makes some excellent brushes. When I do large paintings like that one you see, a lot of times you'll see me using brushes like this on the taller brushes. Number 12, Silver Ruby Satin Silver Bright. I use a lot of the bright brushes, but then the next level up in the silver brush from that is the Bristol-On, and they're actually slightly better than the, I don't know, better, but
I know it's a different brush. To me, they're too stiff.
They're a little stiff. I've gotten used to using these, the Ruby Satin Silver brushes, and I like them a lot. And I've been using them for years. And there is a trick about putting your brushes and dipping them in boiling water and re-straightening them. They've got, if you go to the Silver YouTube channel, the Ruby Satin Silver, or the Silver Brush YouTube channel, they've got a trick on how to get your brushes and reshape them. It's good to watch that video.
Oh, Ron asked a question 100 questions ago. How's my painting? Non-existent right now. I haven't been painting since the last time Ginger and I painted.
Yeah, John has not had a chance to paint. John works till 3 every morning, doing either editing videos, answering emails, helping people. We've got, if you haven't been to our Tech Bear channel, the Tech Bear.
Please subscribe for that poor little bear.
But, we got like 1,000 subscribers, like 60,000 over here. You guys ought to subscribe, because what's on that channel is just technical stuff, like I can't hear the sound on my YouTube channel, or everything's buffering, or this, that, and the other. And he has all these technical questions from the art standpoint of your phone, your computer, and doing art lessons online. Just the technical aspect of trying to do all that.
Thus, the Tech Bear.
That's the Tech Bear. All right, so we draw for some of these great
Can I make
chances?
any 8x10 tutorial into a 16x20?
Yeah.
If you're brave enough.
Yeah. What are we mentioning?
That was just a question that came by.
Yeah, I think you could do. Absolutely, I think you could do that.
Yeah.
16x20. I think this would be cute.
The thing you got to remember, you go big, you got to add the detail.
Like, for instance, you might, have another branch and some more branches coming up, but try to have a center of interest and, some birds. I think you could add some more birds if you wanted to. You could add some of the females.
They're talking about just tutorials on our website as well.
Yeah.
Not the birds.
And not everything blows up. And the other thing I see sometimes, and this is just a shout out to you guys, if I've done a vertical and you do a horizontal and then you wonder why it didn't work out, it's because you did a horizontal. There's a lot of thought that goes into the design of these. Or if I've done a horizontal and you turn it into a vertical, there's a reason. And you change the design, you change the center of interest, you change everything. You change the vanishing point, none of the lines work anymore. It's a problem. So, you can change stuff, but just know that that's a problem.
All right, we are closing the door for the entries. We've got a mere 314.
That's a good one.
That is a good one. That is an excellent one.
Okay.
And we will ask Miss Echo, pick a number between 1 and 314.
I've got to fix this right here. While you're doing that, I'm going to fix this.
Between 1 and 314 is 168.
168. Wow. Okay. I'm going to just. I feel like this is too straight down. We've got to lump it a little bit here.
What are you doing?
You see how this one goes too straight down right here?
Oh, you're still painting.
I'm just. All
right. So we have Jean Billington. Billington.
Jean Bellington, congratulations. Be sure to go to gingercookondemand.com and then use the contact us and tell us which one of the 1 credit downloadable lessons you'd like to own.
Okay. Let's do another.
Oh, let's do another. That'll be fun.
Echo, pick a number between 1 and 314.
Your random number between 1 and 314 is 185.
She's staying in the same neighborhood this
I'm
time.
putting in I forgot the chimney.
The chimney on what?
There's a little chimney on this one.
You had a chimney on the birdhouse?
On a little one right here.
I didn't notice that.
Yeah, someone will have noticed it and said I forgot. So there it is, you guys. I forgot the chimney. I don't know why we have a chimney, but we do. So there, right?
Heather Whitman. Go to Ginger Cook On Demand.
Heather, congratulations.
OnDemand.com. Select a lesson and let us know which one you'd like.
Absolutely. Good job.
Hey, Ellie, can we do another one? Ellie's in charge of the accounting department.
Okay.
She says, yeah, one more.
All right. All right.
Echo, pick a number between 1 and 314.
Your random number between 1 and 314 is 165.
That was the same number, sweetie.
Do another one.
No, it wasn't.
No?
Nope. Last night she went from, or the last time we did it, she was at one end to the other end.
I think you've got to
we
do.
had a
We've got.
donation come in.
You've got to do at least 2 more, John, because we've got so many people entered. It's 300 people. That's just. Let's do a couple more. It's the holidays. We're going to be gone for a while. Let's do a couple more.
Let's thank Deborah Swan for the nice donation that came in. Thank you very much. And the last winner, not the last winner, the third winner is Raynette Mandela.
Raynette Mandela, congratulations. What I love about this is no matter where you live in the world, if you've got internet, you can own one. You know, you can win this, right? You could be living in Italy or New Zealand, doesn't really matter, or Moscow, doesn't matter. You can win one of these downloadable lessons, or China. You can win it. So I think that's what's cool about that. So we're going to do a couple more because you guys have been so great. We had a lot of entries. And
all right, what I'm going to do is I'm going to force her to go to a lower number.
Okay.
Echo. Pick a number between 1 and 165.
Your random number between 1 and 165 is 24.
24. All right, that's good. All right, that's fine.
Don't you think that was nice of me to do?
Yeah, you should do that. I just felt we needed a few more. I would have felt gypped if I were those guys, right? I just felt like the computer was having its way with me. I'm going to come up here like that and do this.
Carmen.
There we go. There, that fixed that, you guys. That was bugging me.
Carmen Rain.
Carmen Rain, congratulations. Congratulations. I think Carmen is an Academy member. The name sounds very familiar. I believe she is. She and I, one of the things.
Well,
Renee is, and Carmen is, and Carmen is, takes advantage of personal art coaching, and is doing great. That's the other thing. Is it's always nice to get help with your paintings.
Let's go to the other side. Echo. Pick a number between 186 and 314.
Your random number between 186 and 314 is 252.
Oh, she's so clever.
252. Okay, who's that?
Well, I'm trying to get it to scroll over so I can see.
That's good. This is all technical stuff here.
I tell you, it's all technical. I need that bear over to help me. Peggy Lape, L-A-P-E, or Lape?
Lap, L-A-P-E, Lape, Peggy Lape. Congratulations, Peggy. All right, so you want a downloadable lesson? Was that our group here?
That is 5 out, and we had the 2 that we did earlier, and Ellie is starting to scream.
All right, so there you go. So happy holidays, everybody,
so
from us.
So you other people that won the question of the day, that was Nell, and I don't remember the other one's name offhand.
So you'll have to,
I hope you remember who you are.
Okay.
We can go back to the chat and find it if we don't. Hey, we'd like to thank everybody for joining us. Like Ginger said, we will be traveling here, leaving on Sunday, and we're starting a new segment called, do we remember, Ginger?
No.
Escape Artist Vlog. On the Move with Ginger and
also,
John.
every week we're going to have we'll have video lessons every week. They've been pre-filmed, pre-recorded,
right?
And
some of those have got good commercials in them and cost-saving tips, and there's even giveaways in there.
Yeah, even some giveaways. So just check us out every week, because probably
make sure you subscribe.
Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Besides just the random uploads we're going to be doing, we have not forgotten we're doing fabulous releases every week for everybody. So keep that in mind.
Fabulous releases.
And hey, listen, the other thing I want to mention too is that last year, I have to put a link to that. I showed you guys how to make an artist Christmas wreath. You know what I mean? You go to Michael's and glue all this. It was fun. There was a cute one.
It was fun. We tried to do a craft project, and we're going to be the first to admit we're not craft people, right?
Yeah, but it was cute, and
cute.
And it's a cute video if you haven't seen it. Just saying, it was a cute video. It's not that time of year to get out all those holiday ones, right? I have a playlist called Holiday Videos. It's probably in that. We'll put that up.
Put that in there. So make sure you stay tuned to our YouTube channel as we travel. It will be in a special playlist on this same channel, Escape Artists, and you'll be able to see what's going on. Anything else, just let us know. You have contact us on basically all our websites. Just drop us a line. If you have any questions, put comments under the video. We respond to well, we don't. Ginger does. So.
Thanks, guys.
Is that it?
Yep. Yeah. Art hugs from us.
Thank you, everybody, for joining us.
Thank our moderators for hanging in there with us, and congratulations to everybody that entered for our giveaway.
Judy and Sammy.
Judy Guitar will be singing.
And Sammy will be riding the surf wave backwards.
Bye.
Night all.
I'm a student, I say with glee, of Ginger Cook's Academy. Take your time and do not rush. Use ruby satin, silver brush. Don't use black and mix the green. Learn what blend and grayscale mean. Yes, I hope each day to earn coaching praises as I learn. I'll be an artist, wait and see. Ginger means the world to me.